Recollections May Vary, a royal recap. I'm Kinsey Schofield here with Kevin O'Sullivan. You watch us together on The Political Asylum with Kevin O'Sullivan. Double the trouble, double the fun. Kevin, we have had a wild week of Harry and Meghan already. I guess what I would ask you based on what we're going to discuss today is Brand Sussex completely unmanageable right now?
Well, you're right. Every day in every way, we get a new story about the gruesome twosome. And I think that this kind of avalanche of new information about them is revolving around the fact that their Hollywood project, their showbiz project, you know, their ambitions to be the power couple that changed the world, all of those things are unraveling fast. It is clear to everyone that Hollywood is a no-go area for them now. Their showbiz ambitions are dead. You know, even Netflix are saying, well, we've seen Harry's Polo documentary, and frankly, I think the official word is we're disappointed. So these people, Harry and Meghan, are falling apart at the seams in terms of their original ambition, which was to become incredibly successful in Hollywood, making their own programs. Well, the narrative that you and I tend to talk about, that royal commentators tend to talk about, is this. Well, you know, it was always a foreign world to Harry. He just doesn't understand Tinseltown. Why would he? He's a British royal and it's a new world. So, you know, you can never expect him to particularly comprehend the world he found himself in. So his contribution was always going to be, shall we say, minimal. He certainly has been minimal, to say the least. It's been virtually non-existent. But the narrative also involves, but Meghan, you know, Meghan, now she's an actress. She knows Hollywood like the back of her hand. She's really good at this stuff. Well, here's the thing. I don't think she is. I mean, she's a reasonably inexperienced actress who used to be a game show hostess, you know, who's acting like she's some sort of studio chief or something. I don't think she really does understand.
When you said that to me yesterday on your show, I bit my tongue. And since we're on YouTube, I'm going to say it, okay? When you said to me yesterday something about Meghan really felt like she was capable of creating this empire in the entertainment world. And you were saying, really, what does she have to back that up on her resume? All I could think about was the 90210 pilot. And I don't know if you're familiar with this. But if you have a higher aspirations, you know, you think you're going to be a big star, are you really going to take the role of girl giving fellatio in the pilot of the new Beverly Hills 90210, which is exactly what Meghan Markle did? When you said something similar to me yesterday about, you know, well, Meghan had these big plans, you know, she has this, she is the one that really felt like she could accomplish all this. All I could think about was, then she made a couple of missteps. And I'd start with the new Beverly Hills 90210, because that is the stuff that went back to bite her in the butt the second she showed up on the arm of a British prince.
See, what I think about Meghan, what differentiates her from most of the wannabe actresses and actors in Hollywood, is that she has got, I mean, they're all ambitious, but she has a fierce ambition, and it's all about her. And she is something of a driving force of nature, I think, driving things forward. Once she gets there, it tends to fall apart at the seams because she doesn't understand what to do. And her idea that she you know, the other narrative about those two is he's really thick, you know, dim, dumb, not intellectually gifted, which I think is pretty accurate. But she is a very clever woman, very clever. Really? Really? I don't think she is that clever. She's cleverer than him, but I don't think she's very bright. She's failed to understand or learn anything about Hollywood. And therefore, their ambitions, everything about her, everything they set out to do has turned into a heap of dust. And it's because he doesn't understand at all what he's doing, and she's not very good at what they're doing. They need some help, but I think it's probably too late now. I think they need to find something else to do, because Hollywood is a closed book to them now.
It might literally just be jam. Well, for the last 2 weeks, we have documented one of the most catastrophic PR weeks for Harry, I should say PR periods for Harry and Meghan, starting with the Hollywood Reporter. And Harry and Meghan really, and I mean Meghan too, they really needed this positive press coming off of Prince Harry's Well Child Awards, event. Him, all the beautiful photos of Prince Harry with children that are ill, the compelling speech that Prince Harry made. It was a rare moment of positive PR. And as we have discussed previously, if you keep going, if you keep looking forward, you can bury stories by just you just got to keep going and looking forward and keep moving. And so it almost was as if the Well Child Awards could have been the exclamation point on this PR catastrophe era, starting with the Hollywood Reporter. But in swoops Prince William, and this is a rare moment for us where we are talking about Prince William perhaps stealing the thunder of Prince Harry versus Prince Harry and Meghan trying to steal the thunder of the Prince and Princess of Wales. He posted on Instagram a photo of him and David Beckham, former friend to Prince Harry. These two are celebrating the launch of London's Air Ambulance's new helicopters. They're both thrilled that they raised £16 million to purchase these. And first of all, I know you've talked to Tom Bauer. Talk to me about Prince Harry's relationship with David Beckham and why this might sting, this picture with Prince William. And also I'd ask you, is this Prince William saying, I have another brother. You've been replaced.
Well, I think it's Prince William playing Meghan and Harry at their own game, usurping them, upstaging them like they like to upstage the British royals. So effectively, William's saying, well, two can play at that. Now, in terms of the Beckhams and Harry and Meghan, they used to be like that, very close, very close. And when Meghan first came to London in the good old days, when she was engaged to Harry and about to become a full-time royal, Victoria and David took her under their wing, particularly Victoria, who shared information with her about her favourite hairdressers, great restaurants, nail bars, all that sort of stuff. And they became very, very friendly. And Beckham, David Beckham loves nothing more than a friendship that also provides photo opportunities. So he was well into it. Anyway, basically at one point, Victoria sort of suggested a makeup artist to Victoria, and or rather to Meghan, and Victoria let it be known, or the makeup artist let it be known that she'd been doing some very interesting makeup for a very famous person. Didn't mention Meghan. Anyway, in Meghan's world, this is a huge betrayal. That somehow or other their privacy has been shattered by this. Her name wasn't even mentioned, by the way. This results in Meghan clearly saying to Harry, you got to phone David Beckham and you got to tell him, no more. Did he leak this stuff to the press? No more leaks. Anyway, Harry subsequently does that, phones David Beckham, but effectively says, are you and Victoria leaking information about me and Meghan to the press? Which, for all their faults, David and Victoria do not leak stuff to the press. I know this. And David Beckham, was furious, absolutely seething with rage to be accused of this by Harry, and cut them off. That was it. End of story. And after that,
no, don't. I don't think that was it, because first of all, it was also rumored that it could have potentially been a receptionist, but there was a fight about that. They were angry about that. But then to try to make up for it, David Beckham showed up to Invictus, where Meghan instructed Prince Harry to refuse to be seen with him. So David stood around for hours trying to see Prince Harry, and Prince Harry, according to Tom Bauer, on the advice or instruction of Meghan Markle, would not allow Prince Harry to go thank David Beckham to come out to support wounded veterans.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Well,
then we saw Beckham show up in Boston to support William and Kate, and you realized, okay, somebody switched sides.
he's also been spending a lot of time with the king as well. They've got a mutual interest in gardening and bird watching. So David Beckham has made a really big thing of, I am now best pals with the king, and me and William and Kate, we're like that. We are that close. He's sending a very pointed message to Harry. But that story you just told indicates to me the problem that Harry has. Last couple of weeks, right? While his wife, Meghan, has been at the centre of this firestorm of bad publicity. Hollywood Reporter calling her a bully, a tantrum thrower, reduces grown men to tears, a dictator in high heels. Her very naively trying to stomp on that, saying it wasn't true, as we discussed last week, making this situation much, much worse. Meanwhile, Harry, he went to New York, now he's gone to London. When he's on his own, he does pretty well in the PR limelight. You know, he's a likable guy. I think his publicity problems all revolve around Meghan. Meghan saying, don't talk to David Beckham, don't do that, don't do that, do this, do this. Every time he does what Meghan says, he ends up in trouble. In other words, what she does, she's a control freak. She's trying to control all the publicity, everything they ever do, and so on and so forth. Whereas Harry is when he's away from her, he's a reasonably natural guy who just says hi to people and goes through life in an amiable way. So we're discovering now that Harry spends more and more time away from Meghan, at least professionally, more and more solo time, that he's getting reasonably good press. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, she's getting press that the devil designed. You know, she's getting the worst press ever. It's down to her. It's something to do with her personality. I'm afraid she doesn't go about these matters in the correct way. If she could just bring down the guard, stop trying to act like she's sort of some kind of massive superstar, and act naturally, I think half of their problems would go away. But as I said earlier, she's caused so much damage to their reputations in Tinseltown that I don't think they can ever cherish ambitions to make any TV shows or films ever again. I think, you know, I think it's now almost beyond doubt that Netflix are going to drop them like a stone next year when their $100 million contract ends. And after that, as we asked last week, Kinsey, what then? What next? Do they even know?
Well, I wanted to just touch base on what you said about Prince Harry being capable of securing great PR. And perhaps there is a clear issue when it comes to Harry's press, and that is his wife. Sources familiar with the Sussex's latest PR strategy have said that there has been a conscious effort to focus on the love royal fans still have for Prince Harry. And in the long term, their hope is that that love will seep onto his wife, Meghan Markle. But I felt like the Us Weekly magazine completely contradicted that, because she didn't allow Prince Harry to have his time in the limelight and to have that positive press from New York. Additionally, you know, when you were telling the story about Meghan's reaction to assuming Victoria Beckham leaked the story about whatever beautician or whatever she was working with at the time, it also reminded me of the Daily Beast story that came out last week about Meghan calling the florist who had posted on Instagram a picture of a bouquet, or something having to do with Meghan Markle's flowers, but with no mention whatsoever of Meghan. And in the Daily Beast, they say that Meghan called this florist and chewed her out for 30 minutes. And the florist said, I don't care who she is, I'll never work for her again. But I'm sorry, those stories are too similar. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The idea that and control freak, like you said, the idea that they are not giving that much away, but Meghan Markle's going to pounce anyway. Let's talk about Meghan Markle. Let's talk about Meghan Markle in Hollywood, because we found some interesting information about Limonada Media. which is allegedly inching closer to a sale. And we're going to talk about what that might mean for Meghan's future. But what we know is, according to Axios, and this is an exclusive behind a paywall, Limonada Media, which is a venture capital backed podcast network, and they work with Sarah Silverman, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Meghan Markle, allegedly. We've seen nothing. They have hired an investment bank to run the sale process, and they have spoken to some potential buyers in the last year. Without that, they've raised $10.5 million so far. They won't comment. Now, Meghan's deal was announced earlier this year, around the same time as American Riviera Orchard. They promised us a brand new series at the time. Limonada did redistribute Meghan's previous Spotify series, Archetypes, to all podcast platforms. It did not make a dent in the charts during that relaunch, not in the way that it did upon its original launch, where it was #1 during the month of August for 2022. Talk to me about what a sale might mean. New people in charge, new expectations. Could Meghan lose her opportunity at Limonada Media with new people in charge, with new bosses?
I'll put it this way: if I was the new boss of Limonada, I'd think very seriously about Meghan's future. This is the problem with Meghan, and this is the problem with Harry. She has no understanding of popular tastes. You know, the big skill in Hollywood is to make productions, be it TV shows or movies, that appeal to millions of people. The common touch. What do people like? What do they want to watch? Now, having that skill, knowing what will work on the mass market, that's what Hollywood is all about. Meghan does not have the first clue. It's all this worthy psychobabble, California claptrap, you know, about you know, her spiritual side and all this kind of stuff. Sitting down with important women to talk about the traits that they're saddled with. This is all weird stuff. It's weird. It's not what people want to hear. If you're going to sit down with Mariah Carey, you know, talk to her about her life, talk to her about her love life, ask her about her boyfriends and her husbands or whatever. What does she get up to in her spare time? You know, not, are you saddled with the cliche, you know, diva? Are you, you know, do you struggle with this stereotype? Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. So that podcast series, 12 of them, Archetypes, weird name. I'm still not sure she understands what archetypes means, but there you are. As I said, maybe she's not quite as clever as everybody said. It did well. Because there was something intriguing. This was at the beginning of the Harry and Meghan adventure, where we were all rather compelled by their story. We wanted to, oh, look, she's got these 12 new podcasts out. Well, they came out, they did well, and then they fell. They plummeted fast. Limonada, as you say, they never got much out of it because they're not very interesting. They're not very good, frankly. So will she be a part of the new deal? I mean, depends, doesn't it? I mean, if I was the new bosses, I'd just sit her down and say, well, what are you going to give us? If it's cooking shows and what your rich and powerful friends think about what the public think about them, we're not very interested. So in the end, I think this is the problem they both have, Harry and Meghan. They don't understand popular taste. You know, Harry's made this polo series about, you know, posh people, privileged blokes guys riding horses, you know, cruel sport that it is. You know, and he hasn't even got the wherewithal to put himself in it. I mean, he goes off to Florida and basically makes a series about this guy called Nacho Figueres, who's like one of his old polo mates, his old polo buddies that no one else has ever heard of. 5-part series. And apparently Harry's hardly in it. So, and he sees this, we're told, as, you know, modest. You know, why should I be in it? No, it's not about, it's about the sport. It's not about me. You idiot. You absolute idiot. They want you. They want the
Yeah.
member of the royal, they want the British royal guy, the Ginger Whinger, the famous one. They don't want Nacho Figueres. I mean, what an absolute moron to make a program about polo that he's not in. Apparently he does make one or two fleeting appearances, but apparently when the Netflix people sat down to watch it, they were horrified. Absolutely horrified. I mean, the word is they were disappointed. You know what that means?
Netflix watched it and said, "We are nacho target audience. What is this?"
Yeah. And
I think that
they've nicknamed it the Nacho Show. So this is a massive misfire, born of the fact that he doesn't understand what his deal with Netflix is all about. It's not for you, mate, to stand behind the camera and go, you know, action, cut. It's for you to be in front of the camera. You're the famous guy. You're the royal guy. They want lots of you, and they've got none of him. And they feel that they have not got enough money, enough of Harry for their buck, to say the least. So there's that. Then we got Meghan's cooking series, which is in the can, but clearly Netflix are totally unexcited about. So that, in my view, will miss the popular mark as well. So neither of these two people up in Montecito have the faintest idea about popular taste. And if you don't have that knack, if you don't know what might appeal to the masses, then you're never going to be a success in Tinseltown, and therein lies their problem.
That's their problem. The fact that they don't take guidance from anybody that might know what is popular or what would move the needle. They refuse to listen to those people. But also, you know, I'll just say, disclaimer, we haven't heard it from Limonada. We haven't heard it from Meghan, so I don't know why I would say disclaimer. But the Daily Mail did report that her Limonada podcast was on hold until 2025 because Limonada didn't want to compete with whatever she's doing with Netflix, which I thought was strange, because why wouldn't you try to take advantage of that hype, that PR, the thousands of dollars in marketing and PR that Netflix will likely invest in this project, despite the fact that they don't think it will connect with audiences. But you know as well as I do, having lived here, you're only as good as your last, you're only as good as your last project. Spare, that was a while ago. Harry and Meghan's docu-series, that was a while ago. Since then, they've had Live to Lead fail, Heart of Invictus fail. I don't think that they realize that if they had more of a sense of urgency, and if they pumped more content out more, if they were more aggressive in creating content versus sitting around and kicking around all of these ideas like interviewing Putin, interviewing the Pope, what can we do right now with a microphone in our house? I think that they would have so much more success. But there is a lack of sense of urgency. There's an entitlement. And like you said, there is this, they believe their own hype in the sense that they really think that they are smarter than the Netflix executives. And they're going to tell the Netflix executives that American people people in general want to watch a polo show.
Exactly right. And to go back to Limonada and her not being a part of it yet, I mean, it seems to me, this is just my speculation, seems to me that Limonada do not her to be part of the sales pitch, that they don't want her in there. And do you know why that is? That's because her reputation is getting worse by the day due to what we've been discussing. The Hollywood Reporter, the report that said that she's a bully, reduces grown men to tears, is a terrible person. Terrible, they said she was. Everybody terrified of her. That has done untold damage, and frankly, no one in Hollywood now wants to touch her with a barge pole. So that could be a reason why she's not part of the Limonada package. As I say, I mean, God knows what these two are going to do in the future, but they need to think of something else, because Hollywood is not going to be their future. It really is not. And you alluded to it there, Kinsey. There's another problem with them in terms that, show business, the key part of the word show business is business. It has to be full of dedicated professionals on all sides of the fence who work very hard to get the product right. Once you have a project in development, it needs all hands to the pump, and it needs dedication. People have got to concentrate on it. These two, Harry and Meghan, they seem to announce things and then just disappear. Nothing happens. They're like flippity. Do you have that phrase in America, flippity gibbets? Because that's what they are. Yeah, that's what they are. They're flippity gibbets. They just
well, to announce last year that she's signing with William Morris Endeavor. What has she done since April of 2023? What has she accomplished with William Morris Endeavor? That's strange to me that it's nothing. To announce Limonada Media around the same time that she announced American Riviera Orchard, aside from questioning their creativity and their ability to determine what is hip and cool and what's relevant in today's society, you have to ask yourselves, who is running their marketing and PR? Because you should have held on to American Riviera Orchard until the day it was ready to launch, or till a week before it was launching, if you wanted to collect email addresses or whatever it is their claim was. Their claim was they were super happy with all the emails they've collected so far. It looks like a failed project. It looks like a failed project. Nothing has come to fruition. The only thing we know, the only tangible products we've seen are dog biscuits and jam. It just looks like a hot mess. And I just, not to go back to David Beckham, but scrolling through our production notes about the Nacho show, it makes me laugh so much that they are trying to paint Nacho as the David Beckham of polo. Well, Prince William is standing next to the real David Beckham. He doesn't need the David Beckham he's got the real thing. So good luck, Prince Harry. Good luck with your polo show.
As I always say, polo is a very periphery sport. The only way this program could have maybe worked, this series, would be if it was all about Harry. Maybe bring in a few other royals. They all like this sport. But just to put it forward and saying, here's a guy you've never heard of called Nacho, and here's this sport that you don't care about. How on earth is that going to work? So I think that this couple are at a serious crossroads. I mean, they bought the rights to that movie, didn't they? What's happening with that?
Meet Me at the Lake, yes.
Yeah, Meet Me at the Lake. So many projects that just don't seem to go anywhere. And I think American Riviera Orchard, I think it's fair to speculate it'll never happen. It's not going to happen now, I don't think. And you hear all these, we're so thrilled with the amount of interest in emails we've been getting. Well, obviously not. Otherwise, you would have launched the website by now, wouldn't you? You'd be in business now. I think they're completely the opposite of thrilled by the reaction. They're disappointed by the reaction. What is her popularity basis to make this lifestyle site work? Gwyneth Paltrow, Goop, everybody loves Gwyneth. She does that very well. It's a very professional setup, very professional organisation, Goop, and they do it to perfection, but it revolves around Gwyneth Paltrow, the popular person. I mean, nobody has a bad word to say about Gwyneth Paltrow, whereas, Meghan, not that popular. You cannot revolve a lifestyle site around someone who's not very popular. So I suspect we may never see that.
Gwyneth, we don't hear that Gwyneth's a mean girl, and there's exactly. a real consistency when it comes to Goop. There's a real consistency when it comes to the products that they carry. You trust them because they're endorsed by Gwyneth, who is beautiful and respected in the industry, and again known as a nice person.
Yeah.
But just talking about Prince Harry in the UK, one other story that was pulled was this idea that Robert Jobson said. I love the quote. Prince Harry's faced with 3 obstacles on UK return. And normally I don't like to quote other commentators because it's not necessarily news. But I believe that this becomes news when Jobson says the 3 major obstacles for Prince Harry are Prince William, Queen Camilla, and then security, Meghan's security, whatever. But that major obstacle in Prince William, I feel like, is very much relevant today, because I I found it I found it particularly delicious that
Yeah.
Prince William shut down all of the Prince Harry news by standing next to David Beckham and taking a photo in front of some beautiful helicopters. I just thought it was just karma, just karma.
Yeah, and William as well. Well, I mean, of the royal family, he's very relatable. I mean, he's like a normal guy. He gets angry about things. He gets jealous about things. He gets sad about things. And his reaction to his brother is, when you hear about the king, oh, the king's ready to make peace with Harry, you go, what, after everything he's done to you? Called you a
Yeah.
racist on television, written a book about what a skinflint you are and how your wife's awful, the villain of the story. After everything that this guy's done to you, King Charles, you want to make peace. Okay, fine. That's Charlie for you. He hates confrontation. But I think he's wrong. I think he should be more aggressive towards Harry. And that's what I like about William. Because William ain't forgiving Harry anytime soon. Quite rightly, in my view. He's furious with everything that Harry's done. And if Harry thinks he's waltzing back across the Atlantic to start doing royal duties because he fancies being popular again, William will stop him. And the one thing that Charles won't do is stand in the way of William. So William really is calling the shots, and Harry isn't coming back to royal duties in Britain anytime soon, because, as you quite rightly say, Kinsey, William will block it, Kate will block it, and the king will go along with William. So
Well, the king will also go along with Queen Camilla.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that the king will also do exactly what Camilla says as well. Really quickly before I let you go, I want to ask you, our mutual friend Mike Graham asked me earlier this morning why, with Prince Harry complaining all over the world that the UK is such a dangerous country, why does he continue to visit it? And my answer was, I felt like he knows he needs the association with the royal family. He knows that we're instinctually going to say, is he going to see his king father? Is he going to see his future king brother? And it's just a way for him to subconsciously remind the world that he is this member of the royal family. Do you have an opinion on why Prince Harry will say that the UK is this incredibly dangerous place, yet we are actively seeing him pursue more opportunities there?
Well, it's as simple as this. It's because of this long-running lawsuit that he has against our Department of Home Security, what we call the Home Office, because he's demanding that when he comes back, if he came back with Meghan and the kids ever, unlikely to happen, but if he did, he wants full police armed protection. So he wants cops with guns to protect him. And the reason he wants that is the rest of the royal family get cops with guns. So it's all about status. It's not actually about him thinking that Britain is very dangerous or any more dangerous than anywhere else. It's certainly not as dangerous as either Nigeria or Colombia, where he's recently been on these weird pretend royal tours. The only reason he says Britain is dangerous is because of his lawsuit against the Home Office, against the government, demanding that he gets armed police protection when he comes here. So it fits that narrative. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but when he says Britain is a terribly dangerous place for him to come to, frankly, to coin a phrase, it's just bull. It's bull. This country just is not dangerous. I mean, I love America, but in terms of
2 assassination attempts, we've had 2 assassinations.
There's a lot of guns in America. So to say that he's in more danger when he comes back to Britain than when he's in America is nonsense. Colombia, Nigeria, but 2 of the most dangerous countries on the face of the earth. This is just, so he's pursuing the case for armed protection for him and his family because of status. He wants the same status as the rest of the family. He especially wants the same status as William, his hated brother, and Kate, and Charles, and all of them. It's all about, he's so frightened that he's falling down the pecking order. So it's not to do with, he doesn't really think Britain's violent, but he says it because he's got to pursue his armed cop protection lawsuit. One other element of his life that is a total waste of time. He'll never get it. He'll never get it. And going forward, Harry has got to learn to find things to do with his life that are productive, that are valuable, that maybe make him feel satisfied, because these fatuous lawsuits and pretending that he's a TV producer is getting him absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, pretend TV producer, pretend working royal.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
Well, if you agree with this, disagree with this, make sure you let us know in the comments below. Share this video with a friend, like and subscribe. Kev, it was so much fun. I hope I see you again soon on the Political Asylum with Kevin O'Sullivan.
You will.
Bye, guys.